Page 46, Standing in the Need of Prayer. Let's look this piece over. I'd like to point out a few things, maybe review a few things. 4/4 time, but it has a 1-beat pickup. So we're coming in on beat 4 at the beginning in the right hand. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The other 3 beats are at the bottom, the last measure. There's 3 beats there. We have eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Look at the first line there. The last 2 measures in the line, you got eighth notes in the right hand, 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and you'll see eighth notes in every line in this thing. Look at the third line down. There's a pickup here, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That D sharp you see there? Remember the rule for accidentals. It applies from that point on to the rest of the measure. Only that measure and only that staff. So third line down you have a pickup beat, and then the first full measure there you have a D sharp on the first one. That applies for the rest of the measure, so all of those D's in that measure are sharped. But in the next measure, that D, that's not sharped anymore because it's a different measure, so that sharp doesn't apply. Just keep that in mind. Same thing in the bottom line. That one, all those are D sharps, except until you get to the next measure, then it's a D natural. Left hand, you got the chords. We got the C chord at the top. The next measure, you got a C chord and a G7 chord and a C chord. Try and say the names of the chords. Try and learn the chords. We're going to call them other things later on. Right now, we'll just call them chords. You might call them other things yourself. I won't get into that, but just C chords or G7 chords. And then in the second line, last measure, you have an F chord. C chord, F chord, C chord. And that's the left hand. Just quarter notes and half notes and a few rests thrown in here and there. Big deal. So now let's talk about sort of getting the hands together at the beginning. Starts in the right hand. You're in C position. So it's then, so I'm going to hold that dotted half note down while I play the chords. And the next measure, the half notes in the left hand, I'm going to hold them down. That's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Work it out and trying to get the hands together. Take it as slow as you got to take it. Dynamic wise, they're saying mezzo forte at the beginning, and it's where it's supposed to be. It's in between the staves. It applies to the melody. In this piece, the melody's in the right hand. So the right hand, that's medium loud. You'll have to figure out what that is. In other words, keep the left hand soft. We want to hear the right hand. And then in that the last 2 measures, the first line, you have that crescendo arrow. You're going to get louder. You're going to go from medium loud to loud. Not a lot of difference, just a little louder. Here. It's not every note gets louder. It's every so many notes you get louder. It's like I'm going to play all those eighth notes about the same. And then maybe the quarter note's a little bit louder. And then the dotted half note is louder. So exaggerating it. The point is, don't try and make every note get a little louder. That doesn't work very well unless it's just a few notes. Now you're loud at this point, so when you go into the second line, you're loud. The melody's loud. You can play the left hand a little louder, but keep it softer than the melody. And then the last 2 measures is the second line. You're going to come back down to a medium loud. And figure the eighth notes, I'm going to be loud. And then for the quarter notes, I'll come down just a little bit. And then the dotted half note, I'm back down. next line, we're medium loud, and then at the end of the line, you get loud again. You see, and then the last line, you come back down. You see the dynamics. Be sure and do the dynamics. We can practice the dynamics. Now I have a new symbol for you, some new instructions to learn and to remember forever from now on. And that's at the bottom of the page. The last measure underneath, you see a DC al fine. It's not fine, it's fine, it's Italian. It means the end. DC means go back to the beginning. I mean, they have a note there at the bottom of the page explaining all the Italian itself. I mean, the actual Italian words, the capo, blah, blah, blah. I just say DC, go back to the beginning. It's like a repeat sign, sort of. So that's why I've been saying earlier on in a previous video that something else might take you back up to play a part again. It's not always a repeat sign. Sometimes it could be a DC. And there's other things too, but at all fine. So go back to the beginning and play the fine. Fine, if you'll look, is at the end of the second line. Underneath the staff, you see the fine. You also see the thin and thick bar lines indicating the end of the piece. So even if the fine were not there, I would use the thin and thick bar lines to tell me that's where the fine belongs. That's where it ends. So we play all 4 lines, then go back up and play the first 2 lines again. And that's the piece. Now, in addition to all of that, they've added words. Here they put the words above the staff. Usually they put the words in the middle, but the space between these staves in this arrangement is kind of busy, so they put the words above. That's fine. And then you have some words in parentheses down below. So the top words, the main words you're singing is "It's me." And if there are other singers involved, they can sing this other "It's me." That's shown in parentheses, and that's the idea behind that. Now, you'll notice the beginning of the third line, there's only 1 beat in that measure too. It's a pickup. You can have pickups inside a piece, but all together, the whole piece, somewhere it should even out to where every measure in this case has 4 beats because it's 4/4 time. Well, if you look at the last measure of the second line, it's got 3 beats in it. So it's like they took that measure and split it, and the end of that one actually goes to the beginning because it's a section. The first 2 lines is a section in itself. And then the last 2 lines is another section, and it has its own pickup. So that pickup belongs with the last measure at the bottom. There's 3 counts there too, how that might work. Some people would look at this a little different, and they would say that measure at the end of line 2 is 3 counts. That's split, and the 4th beat is actually in the next line. I don't know technically which is correct and which isn't. I really don't care. As long as you understand every measure's got to have 4 counts in it. So, and here we have 2 measures that have 1 count in each. So we have to have 2 measures someplace with 3 counts in it each. So, yeah. Because they're not going to take a measure and split it multiple times. I've never seen that. Let's try this out slowly together just to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. You can do the dynamics on your own, and I'm just going to play the notes so you can hear them. The idea is for you to listen to me play while you play at the same time to see if you're playing the same as me. So put your hands in C position, and I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, go. 3 and 4.